Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year edition. So we're getting every bit of indication that we're going to end up fighting Killer Croc, and I'll be a little bit surprised if what I expect to happen doesn't happen. I'm expecting, since we've got this new ability of a grapple hook, we're going to end up grapple hooking Killer Croc and getting dragged through sewers in this cave system that doesn't really make sense as far as why it exists at all. It's either a super rusted out and neglected system that Batman built all of, which doesn't really make sense. There was a Batcave system, but then there was also kind of an ancient aqueduct system, and now we're kind of more in the basement of Arkham Asylum, which doesn't fully make sense either. But yeah, I imagine we're gonna grapple Killer Croc, and then that will we'll have to do some quick time events. There's a lot of dead bodies though getting buried, and a lot of skeletons, which kind of imply almost a mausoleum. Like it's something like there would have been an ancient church on Arkham Asylum's island before Arkham Mansion was built, which doesn't make the most amount of sense. And we've got barbed wire from like World War II, which doesn't really make sense. And all we really are doing is walking through a corridor. And yeah, it would be kind of weird if nothing happens here. A wall. These walls generally don't distinguish themselves enough that it's obvious that there's something there. Which way did I just blow open? This way, I believe. Yep. Yeah, by the looks of it, it looks like not a lot's happening. Just a hallway. The only thing in that hallway was a audio thing. So now we're trying to return to the surface via sewer systems, and we see a couple of people. And now, where are we? It says we are in a very different place than what would make sense.
Ding dong! Joker again? Don't worry about the bat. I put a few surprises along the way. Decides to turn up and spoil the fun. Oh, and if you hear a shot in the dark, don't worry. There's very little chance of you getting hurt. It's the bat I'm after. Still, you might want to check your health insurance. Who am I kidding? You don't have any.
Snipers. Looks like the Blackgate thugs have access to the armory.
So we've got a new group of people to fight that we kind of need to fight for experience. We've got snipers who are wandering around, and where we are standing, we are going to Arkham Mansion. Where we're standing is far enough away from that, and we still can't open those gates. There is a riddle in this area that I think is in this general area that we still haven't found. Either that, or there is a riddle two dents in the wall. So we're still looking for something that would say Harvey Dent on the wall somewhere. But I don't think that's gonna really happen. And then that area still can't be reached, and that grapple area I don't think can be reached. Suppose we can have the grapple ability. These guard towers have this kind of unique element to them that you can get to the top of them. So it's not super difficult to actually be right above them. And they're not gonna look up. So just climb down here, hit B, and then silent takedown. And then come out of detective mode so that they can see that. And yeah, there's not anything here that's gonna say Harvey didn't. Alright. So then the next question would be, how do we get over to that? I kind of don't buy. I guess we're gonna have to just kind of glide. Like he's looking that direction, so we can kind of glide this way. And just convenience sake, we'll bother to climb up here. This light is pointing down in that direction. I don't think that means anything. Alright. I think probably at this point I could, even if he did catch me, it probably wouldn't be anything. And we needed to do that because of the experience. Meanwhile, yeah, going back to intensive treatment doesn't make any sense. And we kind of need the experience to fight these guys. There's about 3 of them. You can't. I don't think we can just take them down, but we can do a glide kick. That's one of the many moves here that that we have not been really using. Right, now I got an A and X throw, and that got me a combo. I actually just now got an achievement for the going above a 10 combo, which is to really just say that I'm really bad at all of this. Let's see. I don't believe there's anybody else around here. This detective mode does do a decent job of being an enemy indicator, but on the other hand, it would be fairly easy to have a mini map, and that would make sense if a Batman just had inside of his bat cowl a computer system that showed where enemies were. You can go in here, but I don't think that there's anything we can do. I don't think there's any more riddles or collectibles in this section. So throw more batarangs at teeth to get some health and some insignificant amount of experience, which I would guess the game is cheating on the experience levels too. I would guess if you're not bothering to oops, wasn't in detective mode, so I didn't. So this guy is stunned, and he's the important one. And there was a great example of me trying to counter, but I was locked into another move because much more like a fighting game, you're preloading these moves, pressing combos, and that's a very different way to play than you play all other games. Like, usually you press A, something happens, that's it. You usually press A and you jump, and that's it. This game plays as if it were logging and registering the moves as a combo. Let's see. So this area was moved, and these guys were left alive last time. I guess that is a bit of an argument against my thought that Batman would be so paranoid he would just handcuff everybody, because they'd be left without any way to defend themselves. On the other hand, these medics were kind of left without any way to defend themselves.
I seem to be losing them like there's a plague in town. I guess the bat is back. I've got a couple of men in the guard towers covering your movements. But be careful. There's those loose cannons, itchy trigger fingers, and, well, you know, accidents do happen.
So there's how many collectibles actually are in this area, by the way? Like nothing. There's just a bunch of other collectibles. I did this area fairly thoroughly.
Ding dong. Warden Joker would like to announce that as of today, all Arkham guards have been fired due to budget cuts.
So yeah, we're kind of just wandering around the same area twice. Batman really supposedly is a master detective, but he hasn't even been telling these people to, say, come to a specific area. Like, go, everybody meet up in intensive treatment, or everybody meet at the gates. Or, you know, everybody follow me, and then I put them inside the Batmobile where they would be safe. And Batman left those EMS people to basically die. I mean, at the basic part of it, Batman could have given directions and instructions. Find somewhere safe to hide. Find a broom closet.
Now that I'm in charge.
In this area, there's just that mystery item.
Your feedback on the place. I'm especially proud of the decor, and I hope it helps you all become more productive in our task of taking over.
If you're interested in the achievements in this game, there's things like gliding 100 meters and things like that. Maybe that's in total. Maybe you have to glide from one very high place to a very low place. I don't know. It's kind of obvious we haven't been to this area.
Hello again, boys. Please remember to take good care of all our hostages. They're no good to us dead. However, a bruise here or a cut there won't go missing.
So now the question is, you see the laser line. And if I was to set the grapple gun, I don't think the bat claw would work. Let's see if we can really do a silent takedown with this guy right next to it. Yes, we can.
Please remember to keep an eye open for any flying rodents during
We're
your
back to
duties.
a point
I
where
hear the asylum suffers from infestations from time to time.
where Joker is just going to annoy you. Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot extra that you can find or do right now. Yeah, they're just burning the statue. And this direction, is this locked?
Joker here. Now that I'm in charge, I'd like to hear all your
Yeah,
feedback on
this
the
door
place.
is locked, so
I'm
we have been,
especially proud of the
we
decor,
do have to
and I hope
just
it helps you all
wander
become
back
more
and forth
productive in our task
to
of taking over.
through the same curve. There's a couple of handprints. Almost like maybe a code or something. So there's handprints all over the statue. But if there was
Any
a
available psychos, killers, maimers, and
riddle or
murderers that are
something
not yet in
around
the
that,
old
it-
mansion, hurry up, you fools, before I feed you to the man himself!
Okay. So we've got some more dead people and some more people hanging. It does seem like we can go through the front
Hello
door
again, boys. It's me.
with these banners.
Please remember to take good care of all
Or-
our hostages. And no good blood
We
there.
do this,
However, a bruise here or a cut there won't go amiss.
and we'll see which one of these leads us somewhere. So that door maybe works us its way out of a cutscene, and maybe we'll see a cutscene of, well, not Harley Quinn, but I guess maybe Joker if we open this door, or it's going to be blocked. So we'll just have to see.
Look who it is.
Yep.
Yeah, big bad Batman. Come on, tough guy. Come and get us.
Oh, look at him. Stuck out there. Ain't you got a cat to rescue from a tree or something?
That's right. Go on.
So they're just
get
gonna make
lost.
fun
We're
of
in
me.
control. Joker will
Let's
pull
ask
you
this
up.
question. Nope. The electric things do stop, I guess, the grapple hook, and that explains the electric shields a little bit more, although it still would feel more realistic if they were just like plexiglass bulletproof doors. I don't really know why they did that gimmick twice, just to have, I guess, in-game cutscenes in case, I would assume, that they wouldn't have gotten enough funding to have pre-rendered cutscenes. We've seen quite a lot of pre-rendered cutscenes, though.
Yeah, I can't believe Batman just left.
Yeah, the stinking coward limped off, cape between his legs. If he tried to come through and take him on, he would stand a chance.
Yeah, me too. I'd rip his head off and give it to Joker for a
We've
paper
got
Always sucking up
creepy
to the
little
boss.
lantern statues, and yeah, this really does feel much more like a church than a mansion. So they wanted me to do this. Take out the guy with the gun. take out the next guy. I'm not hitting the right counter button at the right time, but I am hitting them, and I think that's all that's really necessary with a small group of 2 people. And we're having less challenge now that we've got our health up a little bit more. Although it does feel like that third increment of health was slightly less than the second increment of health. Let's go ahead and see what's hidden in this area. Nothing, but there will be a lot of things later. Let's see. And no basic switch or anything to disable this. And I guess I could have. Let's test this out. Yeah, it's just hitting an invisible wall when there's no reason why there should be an invisible wall there. And that would have been super easy to simply have these emitters back over here and not have this wall section at all. It's just logically ridiculous. These statues strike me a lot like some of the statues I've seen in Darksiders 1, which would have been a game that would have come out around that general time that this came out, so I wouldn't be surprised if some 3D modeler they were able to reuse the 3D models, or one 3D modeler was inspired by another 3D modeler. Let's see what this direction goes. We're running into a point where we might start to get a little bit confused. If specific rooms had multiple entrances and exits, that would be a little weird. It would make the game less linear, certainly, but would also be pretty different from what we've played up until this point. So I don't know what to do if the game decides to start doing something different. And we're gonna have to scan this and listen.
Before me, shameless and barking like a mad dog. For what felt like days, I endured his boasts. He took pleasure recounting his actions, cataloguing his depraved crimes. What should have been revenge turned to pity. This poor dog needed my help.
So some crazy person, like when we click on this and then hit X, kind of doesn't tell us anything, does it? So I guess the idea is that in some time in the past, a crazy person was brought to Arkham Mansion, or the Church of Arkham. This is different. There's a lot of people there, and a lot of pieces of paper. Who is the main man in the main hall? I would say that guy is. Right. So we're back to the gargoyles inside, which still doesn't make sense. We've got a lot of people. More people than is realistic. Do we want to just avoid? Do we want to take them down and try some form of I don't know what we're we're supposed to be doing here. Like, you've got a gated off security area here that locks to a door. We've got a couple of teeth, which were probably supposed to be health refills for me after taking on all the enemies. Do have something here. The numbers of hostiles is jumping wildly. I get another thing to listen to.
Patient was referred to me after the incident with Dr. Murphy. He appears to have suffered a breakdown of sorts. I believe it was brought about after the loss of his wife and child. As yet, the patient has been unable to speak. Continued observation shows little.
There is something to be said about the tragic backgrounds of many of Batman's enemies, rogues, gallery of rogues, but
As ever, it is difficult to continue my research under such conditions.
Step away from Dr. Combs! Now! Get down on the ground! We found them. Someone get a medic. Oh, God, what's he done to him?
so that was the Scarecrow recording his own audio tape there. So I guess was when he was talking there about the loss of a wife and child, he may have been talking about Dr. Combs losing his wife and child, not the backstory of Scarecrow. The Joker specifically, however, doesn't have a backstory, never will. I don't see anything here. Like, I broke into that room just to hit one of those things. Let's see. That wasn't the riddle solution. So do I want to go to the left and avoid all these people? Or do I want to take on all these people? I think I have to take on all the people, because I think the way this all is going to break down is I still need that experience. Alright. So at the looks of it, it doesn't look like anybody's armed. So let's just do this. Worst case scenario, I die. And this is the standard anime fighting Baki the Grappler argument that was once made. It doesn't matter how many people there are coming after you, only 4 people can actually attack you at one time, simply because people are just too wide. Maybe if you had a really well-trained group, they could get a little bit higher. They've introduced a guy with a Joker head and like a skull cap surgery of some sort, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is still just that same white guy face model with they've just made some changes. Alright, so I'm carrying metal, although questionable. Why would any of his guns set off a metal detector, or any of his weapons set off a metal detector, when you'd think he would be able to work his way around that? We're supposed to just be locating Dr. Young, so feels like the last place we look will be the last place we look. Let's see. Commissioner James Gordon, is he the answer to the riddle?
I'm losing patience. You're cheating. You must be.
That should have upgraded me. Yeah, it did. So what do we want? I don't think we have anything that can be upgraded that's new. Because the grapple hook was its own separate Metroidvania upgrade. So upgrade the armor some more, and after we upgrade the armor, I guess we'll start thinking about, after we get the armor all the way to the max, we'll start thinking about upgrading the offensiveness. And if we play well enough, which we very well may not get enough collectibles to get everything, we'll work towards unlocking some other elements. Is there, by the way, any other riddles in this area? No, but there is this. So we don't want to miss this. And generally speaking, when we get back into an area, we tend not to assume as much as needs to be searched. So it's kind of fairly obvious that the door over here that is blocked by the security system is the door that we'll have to work with and go through. What does a bird need in the rain? The eye? If it's a spelling riddle. The air. Oh, an umbrella. So apparently the penguin is a character already in the universe, but let me just tell you, I don't think shows up. Not in this one game. Which they kind of need that, because they've got to hold back something. And I would argue, from my understanding of where the story goes by the fourth game in this series, they play with the Joker so much that they really failed to bring in any other kind of enemy. Whereas that was some of the best parts of the Hush series in particular, is the idea of this new unknown character that is actually causing Batman trouble. There is a dot. Just gotta line it up. And the camera doesn't really want to cooperate. Over here we've got another of these backup story things. Chronicle of
The
Arkham.
island changed little over the
I imagine
years.
there's quite a few of
Its
those in this area.
reputation was in tatters, but I vowed to fix it. As the buildings were rebuilt, I saw the future. A bright, wonderful future.
Most of Arkham seems so high from the shore that it makes it seem very much likely that Arkham Island could have been a lot bigger in the past, and then through just natural corrosion it worked its way to being a much smaller area, which also would explain the idea of a church and a mansion on it, because this island in its current state is nowhere big enough wonder what that guy is doing. He's like digging through paperwork. Yeah. It really isn't big enough to even have an asylum on it, let alone anything else. Alright. So from this location we can glide kick this guy.
He's here!
And I think once you hit them once, they're weaponless. And yeah, that's the skin, that is clearly the skin of the black henchman with a Joker face painted on it, because it's still got the exact same burns. Far too distinctive of a face to have if you were going to have to reuse it. And these guns, just in detective mode, are highlighted as red and nothing else. He won't pick them up, he won't use them. Or anything like that. That's in line with the Batman story. So we're getting more challenges and more fights, which is nice, because it was getting a little dull, and I would still say it's not super active. Alright.
Welcome to the Arkham Library. History is so important.
Alright, there we go. We got stun this guy. And then hit Y on him. Right trigger and Y. And then that just leaves us with a couple other people. On easy, you're still running into a problem where there's not enough characters to really get your combo up. The combo timer does not feel at all like it is extended.
And save the helpless hostages. Right?
What hostages were they talking about? Didn't even know there were hostages. There's chandelier, which we're going to drop down and I guess do a boss fight, which almost implies that there was a completely different area.
Leaving the party so soon? What about the other guests? They'll just die if you don't turn up and save the day.
And over here. So that's another. Like can't hit the chattering teeth. Should probably let one of these actually hit me. Oh, they can't actually hurt you? How ridiculous is that? So they've got the explosive presence around them. The game would feel nicer if we were saving more people. If you had hostages many times in many different areas. That would also help limit the potential courses of action that Batman would take compared to a normal scenario where Batman would probably just act a lot more violently if he was treating people with kids' gloves because of hostages being nearby. Here's another corpse just in the ventilators. Alright. So up we go this way. I don't even know if there's a riddle in this area. Nope, not even a riddle in here. And so there's another security gate. Another picture of somebody. Just trying to play really thoroughly these dirty windows, I guess. Just kind of fogged windows, dirty windows. There is another gate for some more QuickTime events.
Reading the last page first? Shame on you! Well, here's the punchline. 2 minutes and the giggle gas goes boom, permanently cheering up those miserable doctors. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
The back claw is not working. I think I screwed up. But maybe not. Maybe that's exactly what was supposed to have happened.
One minute 30 to go. Gotta say, I'm getting bored already. Maybe I should just press the button and... Only joking.
So there was a trick here. Is it? It's not just jump on this though. And disarm the bomb. And then
Thank you, Batman.
weird
Are
cutscene.
they all gone?
Yes, you're safe. What happened?
Here's another
It
great
all happened
example.
so fast.
Is he gonna tell
Some
him to
patients
go
broke
somewhere
in,
and
they kept
hide,
tearing up the place,
or just
like they
take
were looking for
information from
something.
them and leave
Bill
them
here
to
fought
their
back, but there were
deaths?
too many. They took Dr. Young. She rushed in here and they followed. I'm sorry. When I came to,
Another
we
one of
were all
these
tied
terrible
up. Doc
faces
Young
with
was
the
gone.
masks over them. Oh, man. So I don't know if we are ever even come back into this area enough that we would need to disarm those doors, or if they're just being reused as a thing. There's a couple different areas here. Like, this is just a dirty window. We came in that way, so this is a different way. Very possibly with just collectibles. Like, way too many of these collectibles back to back. Alright. Continue to search the other rooms in the mansion for Dr. Young's notes. I would love to if the game would simply let me leave the area. Let's see. I think I've been to each of these. Like, if there was any collectible, it would be over here. Yeah. And we can't do that. So, yep, just more reason to come back later. And looks like we're not going to run into anything here, so we're just walking through the hallway that's completely empty to waste time. And remember, you have to hold A to run, so it's not particularly fast either.
What's going on?
Alright, well, there's only a couple of these guys. This game would be completely impossible if you didn't have the right trigger Y button to slam their heads into the ground. I'm just kicking a recycling bin. Alright. Well, it does feel like we accomplished a little bit more. We'll have to go to this door next. I assume that's the goal. We didn't really accomplish too much. We got some more Riddler stuff. We got some Arkham, Spirit of Arkham stuff. We have a new penguin thing we found, and yeah, I don't think he shows up in the game at all, and if he does, he's not gonna look like that. Yeah, nobody has really tried to redraw a penguin too extremely different from his original appearances, which I think has been probably a problem of the character. Like, he's supposed to represent rich, like, corruption, political corruption, and just capitalist corruption in general, and he looks like Mr. Monopoly as such. When if somebody wants to actually tell that story and be serious, they would draw a new character or use a completely different character who doesn't look so silly. Yeah, otherwise there's kind of nothing here. I bet a percentage is slightly higher. You can't see it without exiting the game. And there is still this chance that a couple of upgrades might become available that do something really, really different, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it really is going to matter more than just getting armor version 4 and getting more of the combo abilities, because more than anything else we're fighting these enemies, and if the fighting was better designed and more polished, I would certainly be having a lot more time, a lot more of a good time. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.